Estamos aqui com o Sr. John Toussaint, especialista em aplicação do sistema Lean na gestão da saúde, que acaba de dar uma palestra no primeiro Lean Summit de Saúde. Mr. John, thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
When did you start to take interest in the Lean system?
We have been on the Lean journey for almost 11 years, and I'm a physician, and when I was in my previous job, I was in charge of the clinical performance, or the quality, of our hospital and clinics. And I did a lot of work on improvement then, and what I found was if I took a flashlight and shone it over in this corner, we'd see really big improvement. And then if I took the flashlight and shone it over in this corner, this improvement would go back to baseline, and this would improve something over here. So we could not sustain our improvement. So when I became the Chief Executive Officer of ThedaCare, we decided to study manufacturing quality principles. And we studied the Aaron Snowblower Company in Wisconsin. We studied Toyota, we studied other places. And we began to understand that there is a system called the Toyota Production System that actually delivers high quality all the time. And so we began to apply those principles. I know we don't make cars, we take care of patients. But we started to apply those same principles to patient care. And we found they work beautifully to improve quality and lower cost in patient care.
Okay. In your opinion, what are the main wastes we can find in the traditional healthcare management?
Well, typically I see all 8 wastes. We have considered that there's 8 wastes. It's not what I wrote in my book. I think that some of the most critical wastes that we find are things like waiting. So patients have to wait long times for doctor appointments, for procedures. We find defects, so we give the wrong medication, or we do the wrong type of surgery. There are other problems related to waste. I think the more important thing is that we actually learn how to see waste first, and as we map out our value streams or the processes that deliver value to our patients, we start to see where those wastes are. And that's kind of the first step here, is to actually map that out. And then we begin to recognize those different wastes and can remove them.
And are there many typical processes that do not add value in the healthcare management?
We find when we map out a process of care that 95% of that is non-value added. And that's what we found year after year after year in healthcare, 95% non-value added. And so it's very important to understand, that existing process and begin to take the waste out. What we've been doing is trying to reduce 50% of the non-value added steps every time we study a process.
In your opinion, is there a secret to correctly implement the Lean system in the healthcare management? One secret, one thing is more important than other?
There's no secret. It's hard work. I think there are clearly tools of Lean that have to be applied. There are some of the human development or people development components of Lean, because we have to think differently. We have to now think about identifying problems, making them transparent, solving them every day. We need to understand the management system, so the Lean management system, which is where a lot of hospitals are falling down. And so there's a whole, what we call management by process, which are a set of processes that managers need to use, things like A3 thinking, things like getting rid of meetings during the day so that we can go to the GIMBA, which means where the value's added for the patient, and really understand where the problems are. So there's a whole series of management processes that aren't in place in most hospitals, and that's really what we're trying to, fix.
Okay. What were the main lessons, the principal lessons, the principal learners that you had, that you assimilate watching the lean system in the organizations around the world? I know you travel around the world to see organizations. What?
I think that it's really important for the senior executives to get engaged and not just hand it off to their lean expert, because lean is really about changing the culture of an organization. It's not a set of tools. And if the executives, the chief executive and the senior executives aren't involved in that thinking change, then it's very hard to successfully implement the lean method. So if there's one thing that I would say is maybe more important than anything else, it's getting the senior executives to understand what we mean by the lean methodology and to understand that it's a cultural transformation that's going to occur and that it involves them. They can't hand it off to somebody else.
It's more difficult to change the culture in a manufacturing company or in a hospital?
Well, I think, the problem in the hospital is there's so many workers. Now, it's not that in manufacturing there aren't a lot of workers, but the plants generally tend to be actually smaller than, in terms of total number of workers, than in a hospital, for example, we can have 3,000 workers. And to change all 3,000 workers is hard. Yeah. In a manufacturing plant, a big one, what, maybe 700, 800, 900 workers? That's a big manufacturing plant. So it's hard to change people, and but I think hospitals are particularly complex.
Okay. The public healthcare in Brazil is very deficient. Do you know the Brazilian public healthcare, and how the lean, in your opinion, could improve this, could solve or fix it?
Well, I visited one of the public hospitals yesterday, and of course the biggest problem is that there is so much demand and not enough capacity. So the great thing about lean is that it's perfect for that. So how do you make the capacity you have as efficient as it can be, so that you can see, more patients faster with the same number of resources? And we saw at the hospital yesterday at the IOB that they'd improved their efficiency, they'd improved the throughput of their patients by 80% in that public hospital. So that means they were seeing almost twice as many patients with the same number of doctors and nurses as before lean. So I think it has huge ramifications for the public hospitals in Brazil.
In USA, all the hospitals are implemented in the system, or a few cases?
No, in the US I would say that we maybe have 5 to 10% of the hospitals in the US that are really starting to seriously consider lean. I would say there's probably 1% that actually have done it, are seriously doing it. So it's starting to take off, but we're not that far ahead.
Okay. Do you like this meeting in Brazil?
Yes, I think this is a great meeting. We're going to have good examples from Brazilian hospitals of how much they've improved using the lean methodology. And I think that's great. Getting this kicked off, this is the first year. It's exciting. We did something similar in the U.S. 5 years ago. Had about the same number of people at our first summit. This year we had 600. And I'm sure that same thing's going to happen in Brazil, because, this just makes sense.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.